Hello everybody, welcome to my new Sunday market breakdown. So we started the DXY as usually. I will go to the monthly chart now, and what I can see is we have this bigger bullish M on the monthly still playing out. So we have that first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, and we are now holding this higher low region. So the price is finding some support at this higher low region with already a monthly bullish candle, not yet the close yet. This is only at the end of the month, so we need to have some patience there. But there is already a sign that the monthly is bullish with that bullish candle. So then I went to the weekly chart, and what I saw on the weekly chart was we are still making lower lows and lower highs. This was our high, low, lower high, lower low. Everything between this high and low is just a correction for possible more downside momentum. But we had that monthly zone as support here, that monthly zone here. And yeah, we have here also this resistance zone against us on the weekly. So we have this multiple weekly bullish candle close. So what I can see right now is that the price can come back till this zone again. That's a possibility, or we can break above that for making that shoulder one, head shoulder two. So that's what we need to see. We are on a selling region now, so I expect the DXY to go more to the downside a little bit. So if I go to the daily, then it's more clear. On the daily, we are bullish. This was our last low. We broke this high here. We broke it impulsively, and then we made a bullish M. So first leg, second leg, third leg, possible fourth leg. Come back till this first zone here or this last one. So possible this zone or this one. So we have that bullish M, but we already had a sign of the daily on that weekly selling zone that we can push to the downside. So if we can complete this bullish M, then the price needs to come back more till our first point of our first structure. So between the 61.80 and the 100. So if I take my line chart, you can see if I just took it away and I set up my daily zone at the 61.80, and I will through it till my daily first point of structure, then it's this one. So the price can come back till this daily zone here, and then we can form maybe on the 4 hour here a pattern, or we can go more to the downside. So to that daily lows. And if we don't hold that, then we will have a weekly bearish candle close, the impulse to the downside break of this higher low. And then the high, we broke it, and then we can make possible shoulder one, head, shoulder two for the possible more downside momentum till the monthly lows. So that's what I can see. I expect short term some bearish momentum from the DXY with that candle, already an indication at its weekly selling zone. So that's what I expect. So I will take in count that the next pairs I have in mind, like AUDUSD or USDCAD, that I will take that in mind. So the first one is AUDUSD on the weekly chart. So what I can see on the weekly chart was we are still in a downtrend. This is our high, low, lower high, lower low. Everything between is high and low. It's just a correction for possible more downside momentum. So we went back to the weekly previous highs, and then we had an impulsive candle to the downside. And then after that, what I could see is, if I delete this, you can see that we made here the shoulder one, head, shoulder two, possible head and shoulders pattern. So very nice to see. We have this nice wick to the downside, so that's very nice. Then on the daily, what you can see on the daily was this possible shoulder one here, this head, possible shoulder two here. You could also see this as one head, and this as shoulder one, head, shoulder two, which is very nice. So what I can see already is that we can make here, after that head and shoulders, we can make here a natural W. So we have here the same lows, then we expect the same highs, as you can see. So that's what I can see, and that's why I expect that the price can come back to this daily highs here. And this is aligned also with the weekly head and shoulder zone, which is also a nice supply demand zone at the daily highs. This is clear resistance, support, resistance, resistance. So very nice to see that this can play out. I still take my Fibonacci from the high here to the low because this daily Fib completion wasn't yet touched. So that's why I still drew this daily for completion there. Then the next trade, USDCAD. So if I go on the weekly, what can you see? On the weekly, we are still bullish. This was our last higher low, and this is our last higher high. So everything between that is just a correction for possible more upside momentum. So that's what I can see. We just didn't tap the weekly lows, but we made here, if I go back here, we made here already some support here with possible smaller bullish M on the weekly for possible more upside momentum. So that's what I can see there. So I will delete that. We can also see on the weekly, we had here some kind of multi-supply mountain, I guess. Not the clearest one. It was just a buying zone from the weekly. That's why I drew it there. So yeah, we have that weekly bullish candle close. We are bullish on the weekly still, bullish driver. If I go on the daily, what can you see on the daily? We made already this shoulder 1, head shoulder 2 here. And then we have this pattern, this bigger pattern, the first leg, second leg, third leg, and a possible fourth leg to the downside to complete this bullish M. So I took my Fibonacci from the low here till the high. So that's why I drew it. And then you have here a possible pattern within a pattern. Then you have that shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2, and then this bigger bullish M to play out. So pattern within a pattern, which increases our probability. We have also a supply demand zone at the shoulder 1 region. You have here clear resistance, support, resistance as in our heads. That's very nice. And then the support possibly again with that ascending trend line holding the price up. So I expect the US dollar, USD CAD to go to the downside because the DXY can go also to the downside. And then maybe go back to the upside. So that's what I can see on USD CAD. Then the next trade, EURNZD. If I go on the weekly, what you can see is we are still in a bullish driver. We are, what I can see here, okay, yeah, we were making here this bigger bullish M here, but we have also this a break of this last lower high here, lower high, lower low. We broke it here. We are already making a bullish M here. So we're also making here the smaller bullish M here for possible more upside momentum with that weekly bullish trend line here, as you can draw like this. Weekly bullish ascending trend line, holding the price up, weekly bullish candle. So I can look on a daily for a possible daily pattern, bullish pattern. So what I can see is we broke out of this descending channel here. We're trading between these lows, highs and lows here. So we were trading between that and we broke out of it. So we are now bullish. So I can see this as our major bullish M. And within that, we have a shoulder 1 here, this head, shoulder 2. So we have a pattern within a pattern. So that's very nice. Ascending trend line holding the price up. I expect the price to come back first to the shoulder 1 region to have there a pattern or a diesel and then going to the daily low. So that's what I can see, and then we can take the trade to the upside. So that's what I want to see on the 4-hour. Nothing clear yet. We need to make lower lows and lower highs first. Some correction is needed. Then the next trade, GBPCHF. So if I go on the weekly, it's a more lower probability trade. It's a higher risk trade because on the weekly we are still bearish because we are making here this bearish W. So everything between this high and low is just a correction for possible more downside momentum. But we are at this weekly lows here. This was our possible natural M. We didn't came back to the high, so it's not a natural M. But we have here a buying zone. So we had here a buying zone, and we are now having here some difficulty to break these lows from this buying zone. So there is a possibility that we can go to upside till some weekly selling zone. So if I go to the daily, you can see that we can possibly make this natural W. So we have here that impulse to the downside, and then you have that. So that first leg, second leg, third leg, and then a possible fourth leg, because we have the same low, so we expect the same highs, so the natural W. So it's very nice to see. So that's what we expect. The only thing that we need to take in account is because our last, if I take my daily flip from the higher till the low, the minus 27 didn't got tapped yet, but for that natural W, same low, same highs, we didn't touch yet the 61.80, so it's a more dangerous trade with that weekly buying zone with it. So I will take in account that this is a more dangerous trade to take, so I will see if I will trade this. It depends on how much trades I will take this week, or if there are good trades to take. So that's what I need to see. Then GBPNZD, the next one. So this is a more better looking option. If I go on the monthly, you can see we are coming from this very nice buying zone. So we have also monthly supply and demand. So this was clear support, support, resistance, support, 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 support. Again, very big buying zones from that monthly horizontal gray line. We already made here a monthly bullish candle close, and we are bullish on the monthly. So we are, we are in that buying zone. We are in that very big buying zone, so we can look for a trade. And then I went to the weekly. And on the weekly, what can you see? We had here some descending channel here with the trend. So there was a probability that we broke out of it, and then we did that on the daily. On the daily, it's more clear. So we have that weekly bullish candle close. So that's very nice one, impulsive one. So that's what I can see. And we need to look for this weekly lower high selling region, because there are a lot of sellers kicking in from. So if I go to the daily now, what you can see on the daily is we had here this descending channel here with the trend descending channel. So at some point we would break out of it. This was just a false break, and then we broke out of it here. This was a clear break out of it, and then we made a bullish pattern. And what I can see right now is we have the same high, so we expect the same lows. So I want the price to come back to this daily lows, and then maybe a fake out, or fake out, or just a natural M. So that's what I can see, that we can come back to these daily lows because we have the natural M. And on the 4 hour, it's just a patience game. We need to wait what will happen there. I think we will have some corrective nature like this, and then we can make a pattern, shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2 on the 4 hour, or if we can come back, then decel like this, or an inverted and shoulders, and like this, and bullish M for possible more upside momentum. So that's what I want to see. We will see what will happen, what the price will do. So yeah, then the next trade, NZDCAD on the weekly chart. What can you see on the weekly chart? We are still bullish from this low till this high, but everything between that is just a correction for possible more upside momentum. But we are making this smaller bearish W on the weekly, so we can look for more downside momentum, because our reversal pattern is just sitting here, inverted and shoulders here, so the price can still decelerate till this inverted and shoulders, or have a support on the 61.80 of the weekly FIB. So we have still some space. So I will delete that like this. So we have that weekly bearish candle close. I can look on the daily now for a pattern. And what I can see on the daily is we have a possible natural W. So we are in a bearish trend. We are making lower lows, lower highs, and we made here the same lows. So we expect the same highs. So I want the price to come back to this previous daily highs, and there I want to see a pattern. So on the 4 hour, what we have there, a push. I want to push like this, that we can make the shoulder 1, head shoulder 2, then the Fibonacci from the low till the high here, and then you can have here a minus 6080 Fib completion at the daily highs. So this would be the ideal scenario. So I would like to see that. Then the last trade is NZDCHF. If I go on the weekly, what can you see on the weekly chart is we had here a natural, like this, natural M pattern. So we had here the same highs, so we expect the same lows. We didn't respect that, so we went straight to the downside. We are still bearish on the weekly because this was our last lower high, this is our lower low, so everything between that was just a correction. So that's why we had here some struggles at this weekly high region, this selling zone here, and then we went every time to the downside. So we are making still the smaller bullish M. So if I drew this weekly zone here, and we just didn't tap it yet, not yet, I guess. So we can take a trade if we can go more to the upside and then touch this weekly buying zone. So if I go to the daily, what I want to see is I can see a pattern within a pattern. We have this bigger bearish W. Within that, you have that shoulder 1, head, possible shoulder 2. So that's what I can see. And I want to see the price coming back to that shoulder 1 region. So these are the trades I'm looking at this week. And I hope you have a nice trading week. And yeah, see you next week. Bye, everybody.